Hello everyone, Elwakil here, and today I'm going to show you how I designed and animated this navigation bar in Adobe XD. If you are just joining us, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video so that it could be helpful to others. Without taking much of your time, let's get started. Okay, so first I'm going to import a couple of icons that I'm going to use for this design. I downloaded these icons from the Google Icons library. I'm going to leave a link for the site in the description box. You can go check it out. They have thousands of hundreds of fonts that you can use in your project, and you usually download them in SVG format, so they're compatible with almost any design software that you are going to use. Now I'm going to draw a rectangle just like this, and I'm going to give it a nice dark background color. This is going to be our navigation bar. Feel free to use any color you want if you want to mess around and make the design yours. So after that, I'm going to use the pen tool importantly for the next part. But first, I'm going to draw a couple of straight lines that are going to serve as my guide while I draw the next shape that's going to be the sort of indicator for our navigation bar. So I'm going to draw a couple of lines just like this, and I make sure they are properly aligned. After that, I'm going to pick my pen tool and then draw a shape something like this. It's going to be a sort of a semicircle, but with the edges going down. So I'm going to draw just this side of the shape. So you can see it looks something like this. Now after this is done, I'm just going to duplicate this shape here, and then I'm going to flip it to the just like this. Then I'm going to make sure they are aligned to the bottom of each other. Then I'll put them together just like this, and then I'm going to unite these two shapes so they become one. So this is going to be at the top of our nav bar. It's going to indicate selection. Now I'm going to arrange these icons on the rectangle that I draw. That is going to be our top bar. So I'm just going to put them, and I'm going to give them a white fill. So I'm going to spread them across the rectangle just like this, one on each end. Now after I do that, I'm going to select all four of these icons, just for the icons except the background. I'm going to distribute them evenly, and then I'm going to align them to the rectangle. So you're going to get something like this after the alignment. Now you put this shape on the top of the rectangle and then give it the same color as the rectangle, and then you group the shape and the rectangle together. Send it to the back of the icons. Now the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to get rid of this guys, and then I'm going to draw an ellipse that is going to be behind our icons. That is going to serve as the indicator for selection. So whenever you select an icon, it's going to move. I'm going to give it a nice blue color, and then I'm going to send it to the back of the icons. So if you're having problems sending the ellipse to the back, just select the ellipse and the navigation bar rectangle that you have, both of them, and then click and hold on Control Shift and then bracket open to send them to the back. Now align this PC icon to the middle of your ellipse just like this, and that is done for that. So I'm going to select everything here. Okay, I'm going to increase the length of this a little bit, and then I'll round off the corners so we have something like this. It looks much better this way. And then I'm going to select everything that I have here, and then I'm going to make it a component by clicking the plus sign on the component section there. So this is now our default state. Now to add a new state, you just click the plus sign here on the default state, and we're going to use that to create a new state. So this states are what we are going to use to move our ellipse around the icons and also the indicator. So you're going to name the separate states just so you don't mistake them whenever you are animating. Okay, so just before that, I'm going to save this particular work. I'm just going to save it on my computer real quick before we continue. Okay, so now you can go ahead and name the first state, the new one, PC. Or no, you're going to name it to earphone, because that is the first icon after the PC icon. So after you do that, you double click and dive into the component, and then you double click again and select this shape over here, move it to the earphone section, over the earphone icon, and then you do the same thing with the ellipse. Then you align the icon in the middle of the ellipse. So that is all for this particular state. All you do is just click outside of your component, and we're going to go ahead and create a new state, which is for the mobile phone. New state, this one I'm going to call it the phone, making sure it's highlighted. I'm going to do the same thing by double clicking 2 times and then dragging this shape over the phone and then the ellipse behind the phone icon. So I align the phone to the ellipse, and that is all for this state. I'm going to create a new state. I'm going to call it game for the game icon, and I'm going to drag this shape over the game icon, and I'll do the same thing for the ellipse, making sure it stays behind the icon. So I'll align the game icon with the ellipse. So that is all for this state. Let's see, we have 3 different states plus our default state, making 4. Now all I'll do is I'll head on to the prototype section and I'll animate this component so that we are able to switch between the different states effortlessly. So after I head into the prototype section, making sure the default state is selected, I'll double click and dive into the component and select the earphone icon. Click on this arrow here, and then I'll go on to transition and select auto animate. The layer, I'm going to select earphone. Easing is going to be ease in and out, and the timing is going to be 0.6 seconds. So now I'll click on the phone icon, click on this arrow, and then for the destination I'll select the phone state. The rest of the settings remain the same. Do the same thing for the game icon. Select your destination as the game state while the rest of the settings remain the same. So now you go up and select earphone, and then you also do the same thing for all the other components. When you click on the icon, make sure you click on the state that matches the name. That is why it's necessary to name your states, just so you do not end up wiring the animation to a different or to a different state, or you might mess them up if you mess with the names and you do not get them right. So do the same thing for all the states. After you do that, you animate them in each and every state. You go up to the interactions, and then you animate each icon that matches its name. So now after that is done, you can go ahead and play this component just so you see how it looks. So let's see how this navigation bar is looking. Okay, so as you can see, the animation plays out real smooth. When you click on the icon, both the ellipse and the indicator, they move towards that icon. So that is how you achieve this effect on your navigation bar in Adobe XD. But remember, we animated this navigation bar as a component. You can also, there are different ways you can do this. You can also do the same thing while having each each component in a different layer or a different artboard. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a little bit of color. So first I will draw a big rectangle that covers the entire artboard. I'm going to give this the same color as the ellipse in our navigation bar, which is blue. So I'm just going to lighten the blue on this so that it does not completely block everything out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rectangle that I draw and then put it in our component. So I'm going to cut it, and then I dive into my components, and then I press Ctrl V to paste. So I send it to the back. Now this big rectangle is part of our component. So I go into the earphone stage, and then I change the colors of the ellipse. I'm going to give it a different color, something like this. And then now I do the same thing for the background in this stage. Now I move into the next stage, which is our phone. I change the color of the ellipse and the background. And then I go on to the last stage, which is game. I still change the color of the ellipse and the background. Remember, you have to paste the rectangle inside your component so that when you switch to a state, the changes affect the rectangle too. So now when we play this, when I click on this, as you can see, the color changes. We have a color change in both the ellipse and our background. So this is just to improve your creativity, just to show you how the whole thing works. It doesn't necessarily mean this is how it's going to be when you're designing a UI for a project or something. This is just to show you the whole concept to help you understand. So if this video was helpful to you in any way, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more amazing tutorials, and I'll see you next week with a brand new tutorial on something different. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also share to others that might need to see it. Thanks for watching.